So when I was young, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I got older. People kept asking me, but then eventually I thought that the idea of inventing things would be really cool.
63% of current Tesla owners say that's a big factor for why they have not considered buying some luxury European car with a big battery. And that percentage is up dramatically from 56% in July of 2017. Now I think you can see why Porsche is spending so much time not just engineering their coming Taycan, but also a high-speed, fast-charging network for it.
The reason I thought that was because I read a quote from Arthur C. Clarke, which said that a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
About 5,000 people, and now we got 10,000 people just in this location.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have tons of shuttles and we encourage ride sharing.
Yeah.
We got the Bay Area Rapid Transit station finally went up. So just trying to get people here is not easy.
I see a lot of silver, and I see a lot of white Model X.
So,
in New Jersey.
Black and white are the two most popular colors.
Okay.
The white and black are that is a catalog item, but then we have to program the motions.
Right.
And the end effector is custom.
Okay.
So the end effector that picks up the car, drops it off, that's a custom made. When you look on the inside of the car, you see how many little complicated little pieces there are.
If you go back, say 300 years, the things that we take for granted today would be you'd be burned at the stake for. Being able to fly, that's crazy.
Ignition and lift up of Starlink. Go Falcon. Go. Chamber pressures. Falcon 9 is pitching downrange.
Being able to see over long distances, being able to communicate, having effectively with the internet a group mind of sorts, and having access to all the world's information instantly from almost anywhere on the earth. This is stuff that really would be magic, or would be considered magic in times past. In fact, I think it actually goes beyond that, because there are many things that we take for granted today that weren't even imagined in times past. They weren't even in the realm of magic. So it actually goes beyond that. So I thought, well, if I can do some of those things, basically if I can advance technology, then that's like magic, and that would be really cool. I studied physics and business because I figured in order to do a lot of these things, you need to know how the universe works, and you need to know how the economy works. And you also need to be able to bring a lot of people together to work with you to create something, because it's very difficult to do something as an individual if it's a significant technology. When I started SpaceX, initially I thought that, well, there's no way one could possibly start a rocket company. I wasn't that crazy. But then I thought, well, what is a way to increase NASA's budget? That was actually my initial goal. I thought, well, if we can do a low-cost mission to Mars, something called Mars Oasis, which would land seeds with seeds and dehydrated nutrient gel, and you hydrate them upon landing, and then you'd have this great sort of money shot of green plants on a red background. And this would be the first life on Mars, the furthest that life's ever traveled, as far as we know. And I thought, well, that would get people really excited. Because the thing about a rocket is that the passing grade is 100%. You don't get to actually test the rocket in the real environment that it's going to be in. So I think the best analogy for rocket engineering is like if you want to create a really complicated bit of software, you can't run the software as an integrated whole, and you can't run it on the computer it's intended to run on. But the first time you put it all together and run it on that computer, it must run with no bugs. That's basically the essence of it. So we missed the mark there. The first launch, I was picking up bits of rocket near the launch site. It was a bit sad. But we learned with each successive flight, and we're able to, eventually with the fourth flight in 2008, reach orbit. And that was also with the last bit of money that we had. The Tesla front, The goal with Tesla was really to try to show that what electric cars can do, because people had the wrong impression. We had to change people's perception of an electric vehicle, because they used to think of it as something that was slow and ugly and had low range, kind of like a golf cart. So that's why we created the Tesla Roadster, to show that you can be fast, attractive, and long range. And it's amazing how, even though you can show that something works on paper, and the calculations are very clear, until you actually have the physical object and they can drive it, it doesn't really sink in for people. And so that I think is something worth noting. If you're going to create a company, the first thing you should try to do is create a working prototype. Everything looks great on PowerPoint. you can make anything work on PowerPoint. But if you have an actual demonstration article, even if it's in primitive form, that's much more effective for convincing people. So we made the Tesla Roadster, and now we're coming out soon with the Model S, which is a 4-door sedan. Because after we made the Tesla Roadster, people said, "Oh, sure. We always knew you could make a car like that. It's an expensive car, and it's low volume, and it's small, and all that. But you couldn't make a real car." I'm like, "Okay, fine. I got to make that too." So that's coming out soon, yeah. So that's the, I think the where things are, and hopefully there are some lessons to be drawn there. But I think the overarching point I want to make is that you guys are the magicians of the 21st century. Don't let anything hold you back. Imagination is the limit.